Hello, everybody. My name is Danny Janetti, and today I want to talk about, defining your own mental health. I think a lot of times people, in videos and things like to talk about, care about your mental health and be this, be that. And I think it's a good thing. It's definitely not a bad thing, but I think being able to define it and being able to recognize what it is that you need maybe to work on, or what you're doing things for and bettering yourself for the longest time, I have struggled with obsessive compulsive disorder, and one of the first videos I ever made was about that, and I think that was just me wanting to sit down and get it off my chest and in a way I never really had. For the first 30-something years of my life, I lived with it and didn't really know anything about it. I just thought that this is how it was, and I wasn't really even willing to work on it after I was aware of what I was dealing with. So I've kind of had the realization that, the earlier parts of my life with things that I was dealing with, I was really kind of just suffering in silence. Some of it was because of lack of awareness, but others was just the unwillingness to do anything about it. For those of you who know me really, really well, I played lacrosse in college for a few years, not at a high level, but it was really tough. I sort of have started digging through some pain that I've sort of buried in the way things ended. And it was really hard towards the end because I couldn't medically clear to play, and my career ended abruptly. And for the earlier part of my 20s, mid-20s, I kind of just suffered in silence, dealing with, post-concussive syndrome and being, in turn, being afraid to kind of put myself out there again, especially when it came to things, physically. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped trying to, better myself, and I just sort of retreated into a hole a bit. It wasn't until probably this year that I really decided that, it's okay to put myself out there again. And for the longest time, I sort of thought, why bother? It was really, really tough. I didn't feel like anybody understood it. I didn't feel like nobody could really relate to what I was going through. And to an extent, maybe that is true, but I don't think that should stop you from trying to live. I spent a lot of my earlier years, in my 20s especially, just wasting away at a bar, or, burying all the emotions I had in, alcohol and, just essentially just self-loathing, unfortunately. It was tough, and I was trying to mask a lot of pain that I had, and I wasn't super aware of really why I was doing it. I just, just knew that something hurt and I was hurting, and I just tried to, bury that. And, this week for the first time in, God knows how long, but I've gotten back to the gym, and it was really hard to do. I'm trying to commit to racing. I don't know schedule-wise if it'll work out, but I'm doing my best to kind of put myself back out there. It's taken a lot of time. It's taken a lot of effort. It's taken a lot of work to get myself to a point where I feel like I can be okay being uncomfortable. And it's been all right, and I'm okay to kind of be who I am and, express how I feel. When I was in my 20s and I lost the sport I loved, it was hard, and dealing with all the fallout from it and the injuries and I just didn't want to put myself out there anymore, and it was tough. And now I'm trying to reverse that, and it's taking some time. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's okay. It's okay. Not everybody's going to be 100%. And I don't want to do the typical YouTube thing where every day's the best. Oh my God, look at me. This is amazing. Because that's not realistic. That's not life. I'd rather somebody watch this and feel like they can relate to it. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But when I started riding this bike, I never thought in a couple years' time I would end up here being a much better version of myself. So when people say, oh, make sure you work on your mental health, and biking is good for your mental health, this is kind of what it means to me and how I'm sort of defining it. It's made me a better person. It's made me want to be a better person. It's made me want to get back out there. So thank you. Go out and ride something.